Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Let me know if you can hear me okay. And I am so sorry. I was already starting 15 minutes after scheduled, which I had pinned a comment. I need to unpin that. But then,
So sorry.
then something like I had something get in my eye like 10 minutes before, and I could not get it out. I was freaking out. You guys should have seen me running around here like a crazy person after that. So I apologize. But hello and happy Sunday. How are you all? Let me unpin that. How are you guys? I'm so sorry. I got to get it together. Robin, thank you for being a member for 22 months. Thank you, Robin. And Jennifer, thank you for being a member 11 months, almost a year. 11 is my favorite number. So that's a special one. So, you know, over the last couple weeks, we've been unpacking not only these stalking allegations from Hidden True Crime, but also all the things in the dirt with the families and how this has affected the families. And it's been a journey. And I thought, I found a couple extra things I want to show you to talk about, and I want to connect this to Michael Vaughn's case. So actually on Lauren's 9-hour live, his mom was in the chat. A lot of victims were, and they were shouted out, you can have your thoughts on that. Was that manipulation? Was that whatever? I just hate, these people are going through enough, and his mom especially. I hope and pray it's going to connect, because not only has Lauren interviewed the suspect who was arrested, there's finally an arrest in Michael Vaughn's case. Michael went missing in July of 2021. He was 5 years old in Idaho. And it's going to tie the two things together. We're going to look at a couple new pieces of just hidden true crime not related to that. And then we're going to have the conversation about, Stacey, Wondra, and all these interviews he's done, and these YouTubers that are getting just way too close. So the things are going to kind of tie together there. That's the plan for today. So thank you for being here. And yeah, we'll just go through it all together. Shar, 51 freaking months, dude. Thank you, Shar. Okay. So, last night I was on ATS News Channel, and we were listening to some of Lauren on the Mormon stories. And I just have to start with this, because I'm not going to play anything. Please go watch her live if you missed it. It was really good. There was one part that really kind of ties into this conversation today. And it's getting too close to these cases, embedding yourself and your personal life in with these victims, their families. Lauren was laughing and was talking about how at the trial of Chad Daybell, when they were listening to his blessing to Alex, she audibly said amen with Chad Daybell. And she was like, I was just so enthralled, and I was, just every word I could feel like, and I said amen with him. And I just, I still can't get over that. Imagine had one of his victims' family members seen or heard that. I mean, as creators, it's time. Like, this is why I want to have these conversations. We got to talk about how we're affecting these cases. Now, I don't have any problem with interviews. Even now, if it's a suspect, for me, I don't know. I just think it's dangerous territory. Family member asks you for help or whatever, that's one thing. People surrounding the case, that's another thing. Witnesses and suspects, I think those interviews are probably best for after the trial, right? And you can, then these people, the suspects, they'll be in prison for life. You can interview them all you want. But okay, let me check on you guys in the chat, and then how does that happen? That is just, I don't know. I don't know how it happens, except for getting entirely too close to a case. And then and someone had put in the chat, how is Dr. John even commenting on this professionally with what he's learned ethical, when they are embedding themselves into these people's lives? So, okay, for those of you who don't know, let's start here. Let's get back to just hidden true crime and some of the things that have happened since that 9-hour live. So, Sleuthy had posted this. I know you guys have probably seen it, but I want to make sure to touch on it here on my channel, so I just have it here. But Sleuthy says, not going to say who this is, but it looks to me like Lauren is having Grayson go through her phone so Lauren can have her attorneys send cease and desist letters to anyone they think might be sharing messages they've had with her. I know people have their ideas and their guesses who this could be to based on like the state and stuff. I'm not sure. I don't want to guess on that. But I have a problem with this. Listen, you're allowed to be criticized. People are allowed to criticize you using your work. That's what fair use is. That's what it's meant for. So this is just bullshit. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because a cease and desist is the first step. Like before you take somebody to court for something like defamation or something, you might send a cease and desist and ask for it to stop. And usually an attorney, that if you're being guided by an attorney, they will want that anyways, just so that every step is taken to show they're not stopping, right? What exactly are you like? I don't understand. Unless somebody is like majorly lying on you or something, what do you think you're going to stop? People are going to criticize you. So it says, and the firm has been redacted. This firm represents Miss Lauren Mathis. I cannot say her last name, y'all. I have such a problem with that. So this firm represents Miss Lauren. You are required by state and federal law to cease and desist from any continued harassment and dissemination of altered AI generated or private messages, which you attribute to Lauren. So you must stop any continued harassment and dissemination of altered or AI generated or just private messages that, are real. But anyway, your conduct violates Florida state law and United States federal law. It is unlawful to intentionally disclose the contents of any communication without the consent of all parties. Florida is a two-party consent state, and dissemination of communications attributed to our client without her consent constitutes both a criminal offense and grounds for civil liability. And then under federal statute, it is unlawful to use electronic communication services and interactive computer services to engage in a course of conduct intended to harass and cause substantial emotional distress. But I just have a problem with so many parts of this. I do. A lot of people aren't trying to cause any distress for anybody. They're just going through this huge situation. All the evidence started coming out. I mean, talking through a pretty big situation, especially if you are a frequent true crime watcher or creator. Lauren ordered those in bulk. Okay. So sending out cease and desist, you're going to be criticized, and people are going to share, different receipts and things going around on the internet. You have to accept that. Unless somebody is just straight up lying on you and defaming you, and not only lying, but knowingly lying, they have to know it's a lie. And you can show that directly caused harm to your business or something, unless the lie is just so disgusting that it would be defamation per se. But yeah, I don't know. I have a problem with this. So that's one of the new things that has happened. When I saw this, it took me down and I found this. I thought this was really interesting and relevant for especially this conversation today. Now, we know based on, we don't know. We have to take Awen's word for it. Some people might not. So I want to say, we know that Awen has said, however, you can find articles and stuff, to my understanding, backing up that this happened. But Awen has talked about a document that was released that was not supposed to be released about Lori Vallow's mental health. And it was very quickly taken off the website, and the people that had it, wouldn't share it. I think a few people had it. And Awen, or at least they knew, and she had asked, is it ethical for me to share this? And they said no. Know that like Justin Lum probably was one of them, because she does mention that he was big in the files and stuff with them. Well, we know that Lauren put out information about that. She had a conversation about it. Lori Hellis went to her because Awen had asked Lori Hellis, is it ethical for me to release this? She put it out anyway. So this is kind of in that same vein. This is pretty interesting. I did call Lauren out for this on X. She had a complete meltdown because of my post. But as you can read, the courthouse did contact Hidden True Crime and requested they don't release the call. But she did it anyway. And she said we did nothing wrong. So I'm going to read this to you guys, but let me explain to you what it's about. So this is from Alex Murdaugh case. And it was a call with his attorney. And they accidentally received it in a FOIA request. And they put it up. I feel like they should have known that was sorry, I don't know why it glitched for a second, because I saw it glitching there. So they accidentally received this in FOIA. I feel like they should have known that it's not appropriate to be posted publicly. You know, there are certain things, just like we're going to get into with Stacey Wondra and him getting a fair trial. But there are certain things that are just not supposed to be public for one reason or another, right? And mental health reports, attorney visits with their clients, things like that. So anyways, she was contacted after she posted it and asked, to remove it. And she didn't. Said she didn't see a point to remove it then after it was already up. But let me read it to you. So the team behind Hidden True Crime, a podcast and YouTube channel, released a statement on Tuesday afternoon about the decision to publish the recording of a call between Alex Murdaugh and his attorney. True Crime podcast hosts John and Lauren submitted a Freedom of Information Act request for recordings of jail calls placed by Alex Murdaugh. They said they did not ask for anything exempt from disclosure. As part of the request, the sheriff's office accidentally released a call between him and his lawyer, which is protected by attorney-client privilege. A spokesperson for the sheriff's office said the call was released by inadvertent human error. And after they realized the mistake, they contacted the requester and asked the call not to be published. In the statement released on Twitter, Hidden True Crime said they received an email requesting the call not be shared after they had posted it on social media. They said they would never knowingly release something exempt from public disclosure. We were not told we did anything wrong, the statement reads. We were not asked to take anything down. Griffin posted on Twitter after the call was shared saying he was mad as hell. A video with the call has been removed from Hidden True Crime's TikTok due to a high volume of reports, but it remains on their other social media platforms. At this point in time, Hidden True Crime, this is a quote from their statement, Hidden True Crime sees no reason to remove a recording we legally obtained that has already been distributed by many parties across the internet. Oh, Angie. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Angie uploaded. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. You guys. So Angie uploaded, and I've talked to you. Let me just a sidebar quickly. I have to tell you about this. So I've talked to you about watching like the locale stuff. I love it. It's like I'd rather watch drama there than like drama related to true crime and stuff. It's so much easier to consume, easier on the heart and soul, all that stuff. So Angie is part of a channel over there with AMAC Talking Smack, called Locale Chubby. It's a whole thing. They explain like the name. I'm not going to get into it. It's adorable and they do a great job. Will you do me a huge favor? Let me see. Amber, can you do me a favor and search the channel name Locale Chubby and drop it in the chat? If you need something easy and lighthearted to like listen to after you listen to all this heavy true crime stuff, they do a great job. They are adorable. They put a ton of effort into it. They play all kinds of little games and different things. And yeah, they're really precious. So thank you, Angie, so much. That's super cool. Okay. So let's continue. All right. So I should have actually grabbed their statement. I thought about it because this is from 2023. But regardless, if the court reaches out to the requester and asks, please take down or don't publish, wouldn't you think that you should take it down? And I understand other people probably have screen recorded it and stuff, but I don't know. It's the right thing to do. Yes, exactly, Tess. Okay, so now this is where it's going to tie into the arrest that recently happened in Michael Vaughn's case. Now, again, I told you at the beginning, during Lauren's 9-hour live, she was really shouting out the family members that were in the chat. And I feel like she used that and she used that to her advantage, just like the interview with Colby 2 days before. So again, Michael Vaughn went missing in July of 2021. The police and eventually had put out and named these suspects. They did this whole press conference where they had their pictures on these big boards and stuff. And these suspects were interviewed a lot. They became close friends with some YouTube channels. Hell, they were freaking. Stacey became the marriage counselor of one creator. It was the whole thing. Now, Stacey has been charged with murder in the disappearance of Michael Vaughn, who has still never been found. They did dig up Stacey's backyard, and they didn't find anything, but the dogs did hit like that smell human remains, decomposition, did hit there, but again, they didn't find anything at Stacey's backyard. Lauren interviewed Stacey. We're going to take a look at that. Again, he was on all these different YouTube channels, and now he has to have a fair trial. How is this going to affect that? I'm really interested, but let's just take a quick walk through some of this stuff. Let me show you this. So here's an article. Oh, by the way, he did waive his right, to fight the extradition, and he'll be on his way to Idaho. So this is from actually Fox 10, where Justin Lum works for. According to a statement released by the Office of Payette County Prosecutor Michael Duke, they are moving forward with charges in connection with the Michael Vaughn case. Per a Facebook post made by police in Fruitland, investigators believe there are 4 individuals involved in the matter, and that 2 of the individuals, Sarah and Stacey, were in custody at the time the statement was released. Court documents we obtained from Maricopa County show that Stacey James Wondra was picked up from FCI Phoenix on an he was about to be released, by the way, from prison on an active extraditable felony warrant out of Payette County. Wondra was listed as a 33-year-old in the documents. Court documents we obtained did not list the charges that he's facing. We know now he's been charged with first-degree murder. The documents merely stated that they identified a subject as a fugitive. So again, Michael was last seen July 27th of 2021. Per a Facebook post, a search warrant was obtained for a home in the community that they received credible information that Michael's remains could be found in the home's backyard. The home was described in the same statement as that of Wondra's. They did a methodical excavation that involved multiple agencies, which began the following day. We completed the excavation to a depth of 4 feet of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfiling the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains. Investigators strongly believe that, based on the evidence, Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property. There is footage of Stacey being interviewed, and that's another thing that's been put out here before he has to have a fair trial, where he's kind of just talking about this. I was watching it this morning, and he's like, 4 feet deep, maybe 4 to 5 feet deep, and like trying to describe, and they're actually on like a FaceTime call. So, okay. I want to watch some of this. She did an interview with him, but many people did. It's not just Lauren. She's a big part of this. But we keep seeing police talking shit about YouTubers, true crime YouTubers in their press conferences when a case has been solved, or in the middle of a case, not solved, not just when a case has been solved, but in the middle of a case, they're having to fight misinformation. It's just like time and time again, they're talking about social media and the problems that that it's causing the investigation. I have to think, like, directly interviewing a suspect, and sure, maybe they were able to get stuff from the interviews to use in their case, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting watching how this affects his trial. So we're going to watch some of that, but before we do, let me just show you this short. So this is these are some of the Facebook posts from Stacey and Sarah. Now, remember, she has a picture of herself with his flyer behind her. I have to wonder, were they taunting? Because look at this. Okay. Either I hadn't seen all of these or I didn't remember all of them until I started looking to do this video, which, forgive me, I'm all over the place because I was late and stuff, but I'm a mess, okay? But I was gathering, and just looking, refreshing on this stuff, and look at these. So Stacey Wondra, 4 days after Michael's abduction, changed his profile picture to a picture of Michael. 4 days after. The day after, Stacey shares Michael's abduction on his Facebook, a news article about it. The last one is just so, it will make you sick. Just this one. November 1st, 2021, Sarah posts, and she shares like a thing about kids and sexual assault, stuff like that, what America's kids are going through. But she says, watch out. You are walking into traps. Guard your children. Take it from me. I promise. The fuck is that supposed to mean? Yeah, the sketch of Richard Allen in a bar when you could see him playing pool. If you believe that he's guilty, which, that's another thing with Hidden True Crime. People, me and Amber talked about it last night. A lot of people left the channel after Delphi. I've never been a big viewer that watched all of her videos, but occasionally I would, but I couldn't watch Delphi stuff either. She was just so unwilling to look at all sides. For me, if I'm looking at and talking about a case, either way, even if I'm just looking at it privately, but especially if I'm talking about it, I want to see all sides. Like, I want to hear everything. I'm not just going to run with like one side and not even look at or evaluate the opposing stuff, But okay. I hope Christina gets answers and justice for being falsely accused of stalking. So now we're going to, again, I was going to go more into some of the other YouTubers that, some of the other interviews and stuff, and maybe I'll do that at a later date. I just think things crossed the line here with this case, and now finally we're on the road to justice, and even without Michael being found, and maybe he will be one day, right? Like, this gives me hope too that we might see charges in other cases we've been waiting for, like Summers, but we're on the road to justice finally. And is this shit gonna cause problems? All of you guys buddying up with this dude, with this freaking creep, having hours and hours of fucking phone calls with him and stuff. What is wrong with you guys? Like, I just cannot. I'm sorry, it's bullshit. But all right, let's just take a look at this. Let me see here, because I only watched a little bit of it. But I wanted to. Well, I'm just gonna play it from the beginning for one part, but Oh, Amber. Okay. Thank you. Hey, Jacob. All right, look at Angie. I remember Stacey jumping on panel after panel. I hope the investigators got all of those clips. I saw him on multiple panels. Me too. And dude, if you didn't know, like some people may not be aware, he became like pretty close friends with some of these creators, and these creators released like all these recordings of phone calls of him and stuff, and they're talking about like their personal issues with their loved ones, and it just was it went way too far. I mean, and I think number one, I love talking about true crime. I find it really interesting, like the psychology of it and stuff. I also think it's important to have these conversations so that people are aware what's going on in our world, and having the conversations about the cases that are well known, but also the cases that aren't. Like some cases may need attention, missing people, things like that. But this kind of shit like ruins it. It ruins it for me, and it takes it too far. It's like people are so greedy. They just want to be the ones with the story, with the inside information, if it's an active investigation, we all, if you're a YouTuber, like this is the moment we all got to just take a step back and really think about like how we, at least for me, I want to take a step back and really put a lot of thought into how I talk about these things moving forward. Even though I already tried to put some thought into it, I already was aware how important this is. Right. It's not that I think that my coverage is going to change anything or make a big difference or whatever. It's just that, again, and we say this all the time, we are talking about someone's worst moments. We are talking about this baby's worst moments. Can you imagine the day he was taken? I hope that, I don't know. And not only that, can you imagine the hell his family has went through? Can you imagine being his mother, seeing this man who police say knows more about the disappearance of your son, and you have to watch him go on not only panel after panel, but you have to watch them be buddy with them, have to watch them talking about their problems with their love, with their marriages and shit like that. Can you imagine how that would feel? I'm sorry, it's fucked up. But all right, let's just take a listen to this and we'll talk along the way. Let's see. At least Gypsy is a closed case. Oh, you guys don't hear the video. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me just refresh. Sometimes StreamYard does that. It's oh my god, we've all just been you just been sitting here listening to me breathe. Hold on, and not only refresh, I'm gonna stop this screen share and restart it. I am so sorry, you guys. Well, hold up. Let me fix it. I think this will work.
This
Can you hear it now?
is going to be a different type of live and interview today. So let's start with explaining.
I'm so sorry. No,
what we're doing tonight and who we're with and why. For those that are here for our weekly hidden hour.
Sorry about
I want you guys to all know, our gems know that tomorrow night will be our official hidden hour with John. So for those that were waiting for that tonight, I hope that you'll stick around and be with me tonight. It's just going to be me. We are going to do a hidden hour tomorrow. We're going to dig deeper in quite a few things, possibly this interview that we do today, or also Gypsy Rose. John is looking at a lot of different things. Is that me or you? That's you, right? Me? I hear a buzz. So plan on hidden hour tomorrow. And tonight we're going to spend some time with Stacey Wondra. And we're going to explain who
Stop lying,
Stacey
V.
Wondra is. Many of you know has to do with the missing Michael Vaughn case. We're going to get into that in just a second. Well, no, I'll just share now. Little 5-year-old Michael Vaughn, his nickname is Monkey.
Yeah, don't you think that's, yeah, I might want to share now. That's like the whole point of this.
He went missing from.
And by the way, I've never had a copyright strike, so I'm not like terrified. Like it won't really mean too much to me, but also I am using fair use. We will be pausing, commentating, criticizing, all the things. So, let me make the subtitles just a little bit bigger for you guys so that you can. There we go.
Fruitland, Idaho, July 27th, 2021. He has not been seen since. We have been covering this case. I've even been to Fruitland, Idaho.
No way. She even went there? Whoa. She's not her. Like, let's see what else she says. Hold on.
And I went in 2022, at the end of 2022, to actually see the house where Stacey Wondra, where you were living with your then wife, Sarah Wondra. You were both brought up in press conferences as persons of interest in this case. Before we go any further, and again,
and let me be clear, I don't see an issue with going on the scene. I don't, but when it's a person who we're already seeing getting way too close to these cases, way too close to these family members, and taking advantage of them just to grow a channel, and now it could have like further reaching issues going into the court process of Stacey in this murder trial we're waiting on.
And for those that don't know about this case, stick around.
I just think that that's a problem then.
Give you guys, and Stacey knows
not
this.
Always a problem to
I'm
go on.
Give you guys a background of this case so you can be caught up, because it's really important that we keep talking about this case, because what happened is, honestly, Stacey, when there was a press conference and you were named as a person of interest along with your wife, she's still your wife, but you filed for divorce, your wife, Sarah.
Thank you, Wayaka. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Wondra and other people that you were living with at the time.
I'm going to share the link.
The media kind of dropped the case. Like, I think we all thought that there was going to be an arrest that was made, and we thought that Monkey's honestly remains were found in your yard.
Dude,
honestly,
right in the mic.
The police were looking in your yard for Monkey's remains, and that didn't happen. You were never charged. Sarah was never charged. Monkey was never found. And I think it's really important we start talking about this case, because John and I care a lot about this case, and we care a lot about Monkey. As much as I said, I've even gone to Fruitland, Idaho. So
did you do that though because you care so much? It's hard to feel that way now. And let me ask you guys, like, his nickname is adorable and stuff. I just like, part of me is like, isn't it more appropriate to just call him his name? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the people closest to him, like, they are the ones who, but then again, it has kind of caught on social media and become like his thing. So I can see the other side of it. So Angie says, Alex, I hope they were, but yes, the police are doing a lot with social media platforms now. And these people are putting nails in their own coffins by running their mouths, which, yeah, log them up. You know what? I've seen the police respond directly to certain interviews and different things happening on YouTube. We've seen them updating their web pages based on the rumors on social media. And I am so thankful that they are paying attention. However, I wish the courts would catch up too, because there is like that area where the courts just haven't caught up with technology. And
so that's the case that we're covering. And then for those that don't know, we're going to get you caught up with exactly who Stacey is, kind of where this case went kind of silent from the media. We're going to get to that point. And then we're going to start talking to Stacey. Now, for our Patreon members, as well as our YouTube channel members. There was a really special interview yesterday, a very sensitive special interview. So it is private, still not private, but we made it small. Stacey requested it be small yesterday when my husband was interviewing you, right, Stacey? And John interviewed you yesterday for 2 hours.
Have to plug the Patreon, which, you know, Duty Ron, you know, we'll be back soon, but we're going to be on Patreon. We do feel safer in a smaller place behind a paywall. And then come to find out, you go on Patreon and wave to your stalker and tell them thanks for supporting your Patreon. I just want to point that out again because I hope that Duty Ron will see that he was just completely manipulated by somebody that he trusted. So anyway, let's continue.
I was on my earphones listening in. It was such kind of a sensitive live that we turned the chat off. We made it again Patreon only or YouTube member only. So we had very few people. That's where it is. So for anyone that's curious about that live, I do have the link to our Patreon in the description of this video. I in my opinion, it's really fascinating to watch. That's all I'll say. My interview is going to be different.
Deets, are you busy? Do you want to come up if you're free? Like, I would love to hear your thoughts on this because in the whole topic of my live today, which is just kind of touching up on a couple things like the cease and desist Lauren sent and just a couple little things from that whole situation, but then going into this arrest in Michael's case and all of the interviews and phone calls that Stacey had with these YouTubers and becoming their besties, their marriage counselor. And then I just figured I'll watch and we can play and listen to some of her interview with him. But I would be so curious on your thoughts on all of that as a whole
tonight. I have, it's going to be similar in that we're going to listen to Stacey, but you know, John and I have a different skill set. We have different professions. John had his own.
All right, we're going to skip ahead just a little bit because I'm going to send Deets the link while we listen.
Idaho home, showing us where the canine search teams had tracked Michael's path.
Had not said whether they found evidence. Her husband, Stacey Wondra, according to a probable cause affidavit. The residence was the site of a weekend police search and excavation in connection with the disappearance of Michael Vaughn. Michael went missing July 27th, 2021, from his front yard, half a mile from the Wondra residence. He was 5 years old. Police have not said what evidence they're looking for, but they did bring cadaver dogs to search the yard. By Monday afternoon, officials had not said whether they found evidence. Sarah was arraigned Monday afternoon. Sarah's now been released, and Sarah's now been released.
No.
Right? No.
No, she's the charges were dropped. She's in prison.
Okay, she's in prison, but those charges for failure to
Are unrelated. Correct.
His body language is just so unaffected. It's really like just so. I don't know. It's really interesting. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Does Stacey know he's on camera? Right. He's just like, He's like, just sitting there like mouth open. I'm looking crazy, but look, I had to use Bentley's headphones, okay? That's why I'm not even wasn't trying to even be on camera. And I'm outside and stuff too. I had something in my eye before, but yeah, the facial, like, it's just, okay.
Hey, and then this is important. Fruitland police obtained a search warrant for your house. According to court documents, police forced entry into the Wondra's home around 9:30 p.m. Friday, where they found Sarah Wondra in the living room. She was detained and read a copy of the search warrant. When I got to the portion that read murder, she said, "Did you just say murder multiple times?" A Fruitland police officer wrote in the affidavit. She also said, "I have never murdered anyone." Officials said Sarah Wondra maintained that she definitely did not kill that boy, end quote, and said, in quotes, "The Most High God already told me who did it," end quote. she reportedly told police, in quote, "Oh, wow, the Most High God just told me that Stacey was the one
And she obviously has a lot of mental health issues.
who killed him and
No,
buried
and
him in the yard
They both
of,
might.
end quote, the neighbor's house." When asked later to show police where the boy was buried, according to the affidavit, she told police of a spot near the entry of her residence and said Stacey had buried him in the backyard by the shed, end quote. I'm sorry, everyone, for reading this. This is heavy. Police said by that point they began digging a portion of the Wondra's yard based on the information. And this is in quotes, Stacey. This is important. I want to ask you about this. From Stacey. So police said by that point they had begun hand digging a portion of the Wondra's yard.
Now, remember, because I think there's information from Stacey. Now it's been released, that interview. I think it was released on Clutch Them Pearls, where he's talking about and he's kind of guiding them to where Sarah, he says that Sarah dug this grave and where Michael was at.
Yard based on information, in quotes, received from Stacey, end quote, who had not been arrested or charged by Monday afternoon, and you still, to this day, I will add, not been charged. It wasn't
I wonder if that's
when or why police had spoken to Stacey Wondra. Stacey Wondra was arrested and told police. Sarah Wondra was arrested and told police, in quotes, "God just told me that Stacey was the one who did it," end quote. Adding that she knew where the body was because, in quotes, "that is what Stacey just told me," end quote. She then corrected herself and said, "Well, that's what God told her." She allegedly reiterated to police that she had nothing to do with Michael's disappearance, and that she said her husband buried Michael in the backyard by the shed, but wasn't the one who actually harmed the boy. She said instead that man was identified only as Adrian, and that he had been the one to do it.
Now, I know some of you guys followed this case like a lot closer than I did. So I don't know everything that you guys know about it. I have followed it though. But I don't think anybody else so far, oops, didn't mean to smack the mic like that. I don't think anybody else so far has been arrested. Right? And let me look here if I can grab that video that I'm telling you guys about.
He was scared to tell anyone. That's a lot. So we're going to go over your timeline. And my husband brought this up with you, and I think I want to start here. And I'm sorry, like we're kind of delving in. I feel like you know us now. We just want to listen and hear. But
I feel like you know us now. I'm sorry. I have to give commentary anyways. I'm trying to find that video, so I'm in the background. But see, I feel like you know us now. More manipulation. We're your best friend. Whether you're the suspect, whether you're the family members of the victims, we're going to become your best friend. And then, put everything you told us on our channel and grow a huge YouTube channel because of it, because we are getting that firsthand information straight from the source. We are going to the scene of these crimes. We are going to the victims' families' houses. We are doing these interviews.
What were you telling police? Police said that they were digging in your yard because you told them where to dig for this little boy. Is that right? Help us understand that. Because you maintain your innocence. Let me explain this. Stacey maintains his innocence, right? Is that correct? So tell me if that's true. You told police where to dig. Help me understand that.
So at the time of being incarcerated and being interrogated, this is in November. So as previously mentioned on the video, or the YouTube video I did yesterday with you guys, I was diagnosed with different mental illnesses as a young kid.
And you mentioned fetal alcohol syndrome,
correct.
bipolar. You mentioned autism, but I wasn't sure if that was active.
You know, all of that is sad, of course, and probably does play into his behavior. But there are lots of people who have these issues and they don't go out and murder and kidnap children. And so, you know, that only goes so far with me, but it could be a good reason why he has the like facial expressions and some of the things, not maybe the lack of awareness of that,
Accurate or not?
That
It
is
seemed
correct.
like
of his own
that
expression.
is correct. Okay.
Yes.
Anything else?
And
You did
and,
mention
and
those things.
and intermittent explosive disorder, it's no longer even a thing on the diagnoses table, but so
Okay.
when somebody, and this is just like something that it's been my whole life, so I'm telling this based off of life events and what I've dealt with, but when somebody with fetal alcohol syndrome is put
Hold on, I
into a
want to
high
hear this,
pressure
but I found it.
situation, their instant reaction is to give something to get them off their back.
Okay.
And at that point in time, I had been being interrogated. I mean, it probably the third or fourth day of being interrogated 4+ hours a day.
Okay, so I did find a clip. This is not where I was watching it this morning, but it is from the local news. And here, this is
Michael's body was in he and his wife's backyard. They lived just minutes away from the young boy. Brandy says they accidentally got the video last spring through an unrelated public.
So the way that I understand it is his mom wanted Justin to release it.
Records request. She asked the friend to file the request on her behalf. Brandy started uploading the video on her own YouTube yesterday. The family friend who runs the true crime account, Clutch Them Pearls, uploaded it to their account today.
Oh, okay. I
Brandy says she
misunderstood.
leaked the
Again, this wasn't the video I watched this morning. It was a live stream that was playing the
video
I
because
hope
she's
they'll play
angry,
it though.
tired, and sick of not having any answers and wanted to take the situation into her own hands. She doesn't want her decision to discredit any of the hard work the Fruitland Police Department has done. She says they've worked tirelessly to bring Michael home. She did decline an interview because of her poor health. Stacey is still a suspect. He's been in and out of custody for a couple of years after pleading guilty.
So let's see. Let me just move forward a little bit.
You should have everything intact as it was.
Again, and the part that I saw this morning, they were he was like on FaceTime because he was like guiding them of which direction. Here.
Garbage bag.
Okay, what color?
Yep, it's this part here
in
actually.
his backyard.
Because I remember the garbage bag part.
It's like right under that mound area.
It's right under the mound. About where at compared to the trees?
A little like right to the right of the trees area. It should be it should be a garbage bag.
Okay, what color is the garbage bag?
It would either be white or black. We only had two
Is the
colors.
duct tape still gonna be over his mouth?
They should be.
Oh my
Okay.
I
god.
didn't watch them take them off.
Okay.
So you should have everything intact as it was.
So just prior to this is when he's talking about, Sarah dug the whole 4 or 5 feet deep just before the garbage bag thing comes up. Because like I said, I was watching on a live stream that was playing the
Footage recorded on November 12th,
interview.
2022 and uploaded to YouTube shows Stacey Wondra, a suspect in the disappearance of 5-year-old Michael Monkey Vaughn, telling detectives where to find Monkey's body, which was in Stacey's
backstage. Okay, yay. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, sorry. It's been so long since I've been on a computer that when I started it up, it's like update, update, update.
No, that's
Everything was
okay.
updating.
I'm just so excited, number one, to talk to you because I
I
miss you.
know.
But
I
number
haven't
two,
talked to anyone.
about this.
I
So,
know. I'm so excited that there's an arrest and hopefully more coming soon. And this case I have followed since the second day he went missing. So I'm very excited about this. Hi, Wolfie.
yeah, you followed this super closely. Didn't you
Mhm.
follow this and that led you to Summers or
Yep.
something with
Yep. I
okay.
followed Michael's case before Summers, and man, I have a video in the editing software that I've never released that maybe I should now that he's arrested. But what I did was I took all of Stacey Wandra's interviews and I
Ooh.
lined them up. And so, like, everything he said about the splash pad, I put it in order. Everything he said about when they stopped to put oil or training fluid, whatever it was, in the truck, I put it in order. And so I'm wondering maybe that'd be a good time to release that now.
You should. I definitely think you should. But why didn't you, if I can ask? Like, in that, did you
Well,
just not want?
I never finished it, and then, as you know, my life got way too busy, so it wouldn't, it
Yeah.
wouldn't take too much to finish, but I just got sidetracked with other things. And then there was nothing for, gosh, what? It's been a year since he did his YouTube tour, and I really thought, they were
Yeah.
moving on to something else, but here we are back here. Hey, Nanya, hey, Jess. They're all gonna be so mad. I haven't talked to anybody in so long.
I was so happy to see you. And then I know you know so much about this, and I had to get your thoughts on like not only his arrest, but like
Mhm.
all of the interviews he did, and like the shit with the phone calls that were released that he wasn't
Yeah.
aware were recorded.
Yeah, when they went on Purple Phoenix's channel and Brooke, sorry if you don't mind me naming
Yeah,
names,
that's fine. Yeah.
released that she was having all these personal convos with him and even pretended to, like, I mean, it was like some heavy flirting, and then, basically letting him become her marriage counselor for
Yeah.
information. I know a lot of people at the time, not a lot, but there was a select few at the time who were like, "Oh, this is good for the case. He's gonna spill the beans on some things, and that can help the case." No, that's gonna be inadmissible in court. Any defense attorney with, any
Yeah.
salt is going to be able to have that thrown out in motions in limine. It'll never make it to the trial. So, but could the defense use that for their case? That's my question.
I just worry like how it will affect it overall. And I think that like it's
Mhm.
so relevant with everything with hidden true crime, like getting so close with these families and they're kind of speaking out and the text. And then like to find that she
Mhm.
interviewed him, seeing everyone get so close. Hell, Brandy came in her 9-hour live, and she
Did
shouted out.
she?
Yeah, and she of course used that to her, in my opinion, advantage. Like she was shouting out
Mhm.
all the victims that were in there, her victims. She called them my victims, but anyway. Uh, yeah, so I think like it's just really interesting conversation to have. How will these things now? He's
I'm very
he's
curious.
gonna have a trial, so
Yeah.
it's
I
got to be a
mean,
fair one.
there's always, and this covering true crime, we always think we know the case until we get to trial and we learn what
Oh yeah,
the investigators actually had. And most of the time they had way more than we are privy to. And that's natural. That's good. So I guess
yeah,
it kind of comes down to what do they have? Because you also have to remember, um, the district attorney, the prosecutors at the district attorney's office has had this case on their desks since 2023. So they've had it in their back pocket for almost 3 years now. So were they able to build more? Is it going to be a case built solely around circumstantial evidence? I'm very curious as to
me too.
what they have that they can pin him with murder. The confession's huge. I mean, I think that's going to be a huge thing that they use in the trials. Stacey himself confessing and leading them to a spot that they believe
Right.
Michael was buried, and then also Sarah's mom and Sarah's. I don't know, it wasn't really a confession. It was kind of weird. I don't know how that'll go. Also because of her mental capacity, will they
Yeah.
be able to use that? But they have those things. Uh, I don't know that would be enough to win a trial. So I'm guessing they have a lot more. As far as like what you and I, well, not what you do on YouTube, what I used to do on YouTube is, will all this YouTube trauma stuff harm the case? Will it, hold things back? Will it help the defense? all these interviews and all these people
Yep.
getting close to them and recording them without their knowledge or this or that. I'm very curious how that'll go.
Me too. And like that statement, what did he say? The statement they put out with the arrest, you know, felt like we had to move forward because we didn't want to wait type of
Yeah.
thing is really interesting, like with what you're talking about. So I
Which
don't know.
happened last time with Sarah. And, you know, they needed to move forward also because she was, or sorry, no, it was Stacey was about to be released. And then they moved forward and got that done. And then, you know, she never was actually ever charged. So her charges got dropped. They never went past because of her mental capacity. And then her other charges. This one's going to be a tough one. This
Yeah.
one's going to be a tough one.
And then, you know, his mom has just been through, which she's posted a lot about, like her liver transplant and stuff. And, you know, she's been through so much. I just hope that I hope that it doesn't affect the case. I want Michael to get justice. I want him to get found. I know you do. Like you guys that have followed it so
absolutely.
closely. It means so much to so many people.
Just want to bring him home. I think that's the number one goal. And you know, justice, of course, but bringing him home would be amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think you should put out that video because a lot of people don't know the case. Like, unfortunately, his case didn't pick up in the same way Summers did. You know what I mean? And a lot of people
not
knew
on
it. But
YouTube. It got picked up pretty heavy on Facebook and Twitter, which is how I found it. And it was very active on those platforms. But YouTube, it didn't really gain traction until the 4 suspects were named. And then it's gained a decent amount of
yeah,
traction. But you're right, not the way so many other cases have.
yeah. But, you know, and some of that, maybe the drama did bring some attention. It's kind of like what Chris Proudfoot, like saying the drama, like at least it keeps them talking about him when he said that about Sebastian, maybe the recorded phone calls and all that stuff. But
is that good or bad though?
I think it's bad. I can
I
understand
do
seeing it as
too.
a good thing, but as if you're the parent and you're like, God, I just want them found, you want people to know about it. But yeah, I think it's
You
not good.
want people talking about your child, you know, obviously when they're missing or your loved one. You want people talking about your loved one's case, no matter what the case is. But if it's my opinion is if it's the wrong way, like if you know if it's wrapped in drama or trauma or any of that stuff, you're not reaching a new audience. You're not spreading information about the case out there to reach new
Right.
people. It becomes this cesspool of the same people just regurgitating the drama.
Yeah, you're
And
right. People stop talking about the facts at all.
yeah, they stop talking about the facts, and those that would want to cover the facts tend to shy away from it once it becomes, you know,
Yep.
once it becomes injected with drama.
Exactly. Now, Chasing's comment here, like this and with the hidden true crime thing, I want to tie those two together and ask what you think. So she wonders how they'll approach with all the medical and mental issues. But Lauren, did this interview with Stacey, but he also interviewed with Dr. John, and with their issues, like I don't know, is that like kind of unethical? I don't know. It just feels wrong. You know what I mean?
I haven't got to talk to the girls much lately, but the one time I did talk to them was, what was it? The morning after the 9-hour live stream of Lauren's happened, and I listened to most of it off and on. And one of the things that I remember telling you guys is that I know she has used her husband's credentials to bolster an opinion. She does it in this interview, and that's how I knew it because I don't really watch hidden true crime a whole lot,
Yeah.
but I, you know, listened to this interview. I've listened to other things she's done in the past. I tried to listen to her Delphi, I just couldn't.
Same.
But I remember specifically from this interview, or maybe it might have been this interview, it might have been after this interview because she does a recap of the interview with somebody else. And she'll throw in there, she'll say, like, Dr. John would say that's attributed to, you know, this factor. Dr. John would say that's this, you know, and will it hurt the trial? I don't know. Probably not. Does it hurt her credibility? It did for me.
Right. Well, no,
Mhm.
I'm totally with you with her Delphi stuff, but I don't know. It's just something I'm
Mhm.
thinking about, like with all of it. And I've been thinking for a long time about like true crime, and is it something that I would even want to keep doing, like with the way that things spun out
Yeah.
with Sebastian, and it is. I want to keep. I think it's important to talk about this stuff, but also it's important to have the conversations about like taking advantage of the victims and their families, or like
Yeah.
the crime lines and lies marriage counseling shit, like creators taking advantage of these suspects.
Mhm.
They're obviously not with it, completely.
And Butterbeans is correct. Brandy has stated multiple times that she requested Laura and Dr. John to interview Stacey. And I've also heard Brandy request a couple other people to interview him. Will that affect the case? Will that affect the trial? I don't know. As a mother, I understand it. I would want
Absolutely.
everybody to do whatever they could, so I could get my baby home. So I get it. But
Yeah.
looking at it from, uh, an outsider looking in and a judicial standpoint, is that going to affect the trial? We'll have to wait and see. Like, we're starting to hear, I did a post about JLR with the, Morphew case, and I know you did a video on it
Mhm.
too, and we're starting to see more and more social media come up, not just surrounding the trial, but actually in the trial, out of the judge's mouths, out of the lawyer's mouths. We heard it in Gannon's case, it
Yep.
was mentioned throughout his trial a few times, but it's becoming more and more prevalent. And
Yeah, which is
honestly,
good. But
sorry if I'm kind of taking over your stream. I was
no, I
actually
want
going
you
to
to
go
hear.
stream on it later, but then I saw you were live. I'm like, let me go listen. But
I hope you still do your stream though, but
I
I want you to
but
take over. Go.
my question is the toothpaste already out of the tube? Like, is there no going back with this social media, with the way that we interact with true crime now, by like literally putting ourselves in the midst of it with, these people interviewing, random strangers? I have no journalistic credits. You have none.
Right.
Lauren, I don't know if she does or not. JLR doesn't, but there are everyday YouTubers who are just regular people who get so closely connected to these cases, and they do the interviews and they give these critiques. We all do. This isn't me judging them, but we do.
Right.
Everyday people are injecting themselves into the case, actually into the case. Is it can you change that? Is there a way to better it? I don't know. I think like the truth, or as what is it, Emily D. Baker likes to say, the shit's already out of the horse. And it kind of is. And not even just in like our little trauma realm. Like, I was watching, the P. Diddy trial, and there's so many social
Yeah.
media podcasters that injected themselves into that case.
Yeah.
I
Nah,
don't know,
I'm
does it work?
sorry. It has to. You know what? Maybe it is too far. Maybe the toothpaste is out of the tube, but also
Mhm.
like we have to check ourselves because
Yeah.
like I don't know, I never want to do something like that. It's okay to talk about this stuff and keep missing people's names out there. Dude, my neighbor, whatever they're doing. But it's not okay to insert yourself and possibly affect it.
Mhm.
Oh, and also Cinnamon's comment here about, Brandy orchestrating that interview.
Yeah,
Isn't that kind of taking advantage of her too? Like she's in a vulnerable place, right? Like, I don't know.
I
It's
think so.
yeah. So
I think so. Like, if you've ever gone through something traumatic or you've lost a loved one, it's like one of the first things that they tell you, which I know a missing child isn't a lost loved one. And I love that she has always stood on that, and she never uses his name in the past tense. And that's beautiful. But i- regardless, when you go through that trauma, they warn you not to make any, you know, major decisions for a year. And that's when you lose someone. Now imagine having a missing person. Every day feels like that loss over and over again, because there's no finality there. So you're kind of stuck in that trauma brain mindset, understandably so. So you're making decisions with a trauma mindset, and I don't shame Brandy for any of the decisions she's made. Like I said, if I were in her shoes, would I do the same thing? Who knows? Possibly. I'd do anything to get, information on my loved one. Anything, especially in that circumstance. So it's not coming from a judgmental place, but I am curious, will it help or harm? And that's just one of the
Yeah.
things we'll have to find out as we watch this unfold.
No judgment from me either. Like, I understand. I think from both of us and many in the chat, it's just we
Yeah.
understand. But the people that aren't going through the traumatic event, maybe they should be the ones that have a good head on their shoulders to stop it. Okay, so let me ask you, like JLR, I hope you will do the stream later because I won't be on here too much longer. I just want to talk to you for a minute about this stuff. And but I want to hear your thoughts since you mentioned it, like JLR and the Morphew case. Like you have a long video. You've done a ton of research and you've been on the other end of some of that and gotten a lot of harassment and stuff over it. Like,
A lot of harassment from him. Yeah.
so what did you think when you saw those headlines? Were you like, oh my, because he's put his head down recently and he's been doing not the same shit with Bullhorn Betty out in the streets and all that kind of stuff, So what did you think seeing that?
I don't follow him to know what he's doing on a day-to-day basis. Do I think he stopped his, antics? No, not at all. I wouldn't think that for a second. But I'm not shocked. I really wasn't shocked about that. I need to go see what the follow-up reaction from him was if he gave one at all. But a lot of comments I had on my post and I've seen on other videos and whatnot is that people blaming the judge, saying that the judge is, that the world has a right to a fair trial and you can't close it off. Well, it's not closed off. And that's what people don't understand.
Right.
The public can still go to the courthouse and go in now it's media has to apply and credentialed media can get a seat at the table. That's still considered an open trial. It's just, not live streamed. And I know the judge did also say they might reassess it down the road, but
it was crazy. No, go ahead.
No, you go right ahead.
I was just going to tell you when I was talking about it that night, I was reading and JLR did give a statement, something like, we just access the public feed and nothing different than anything else we ever do. Or I don't know, basically like that. They didn't think they had done anything wrong. Well, then they say in the article, people were threatening the judge, bashing the defense attorney, bashing the victims. And I said, oh my God, like, I can't believe that. Literally a couple people in the chat and some that I know and can believe, not just like trolls who are going to run to chat. They're like, no, I was there. I saw it. They were literally bashing the judge. So, I mean, you got to control your chat then.
Well, and you also have to protect the sanctity of the judge has to protect the sanctity of the trial. They have to protect what that trial is for and what it's about. And it's, ultimately justice for that individual. So if that means shutting out a few bad actors, then that's what that judge has to do. So I understand it. I might not like it. I wanted to watch that trial just as much as everybody else. I was very frustrated when we, couldn't watch the Lori's first trial where you could just hear it, and the same with the West trial. So,
well, that's part of how Lauren blows up really big, blew up
big,
going to like Lori's trial and reporting. And not only that, but like I said, going and becoming friends with the victims and going to their homes and going, things like that. It gives you we have the, firsthand information. We've got the breaking news nobody else has type of thing, and people flock there. And maybe she grew too fast and didn't realize like everybody can be criticized, and if you're a shitty person and you say shitty stuff in text, it might come out. Like, that's part of social media, but she doesn't.
And I think that more and more judges are wanting, especially with higher profile trials and cases, they're wanting to protect it, and I understand that.
Me too. I want them to protect it. If we have to get less information because of assholes, it sucks. But also,
the messier the public gets, the tighter they have to rein things in, and that's what it seems like is happening. And I just go back to, do I think that that's going to change? No, I think it'll probably continue to spiral and get worse and worse.
Yeah. Well, and social media laws, I don't know if something's got to give where the courts and the system catches up with the internet or so, like it's just not caught up yet. And
it moves too slow.
Did you see though, because I had talked to you after the 9-hour live, I think in the chat, in our group chat, a little bit about that, but did you see, the following days after, there was more coming out, and Kay ended up speaking out on Krish's channel and was saying like, you know, she said she didn't feel exploited inviting her into her home and stuff like that. And, but when Lauren compared herself to Charles, she did feel exploited and she was mad and a couple other things that she had. But anyways, Lauren copyright struck her.
I did
Krisha.
see that, and I posted those the screenshots that
yeah,
MJ put in there of the text messages. I didn't hear it personally. I meant to go over to her Facebook and watch it, but I haven't yet. But what do you think about it? I haven't kept up with everything, Lauren, like a lot of people have. So I was just curious what you thought about everything going on.
I think I have a lot of thoughts. Like, I think that she blew up and she gets way too close. I wonder if there's some kind of mental health thing going on. Because last night I was on Amber's. Amber only goes live on the weekends. So she was wanting to talk about a lot of the filings and stuff. And she's playing. And also she's playing some old interviews, and she plays Lauren on Mormon Stories podcast. And Lauren says that when she's at at Chad's trial, that they're playing the blessing that Chad did on Alex. And at the end, she said, I could feel every word. And I was just so in tune and so ingratiated in it that at the end, when he said amen, I caught myself saying amen with him.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah. So I think that she's definitely she's just getting too close to it. I think it's a mess, but I think that also it brings up a lot of good conversations about what are we doing here and how can we do it in a way that's not harmful to anybody. You know, what do you think?
I listened to their response, which I'm still not sure who they were responding to because they kept saying they weren't responding to the stalker. So I don't know who they were responding to. Just kind of seemed like an ode to Brad Pitt at first.
Yeah.
But they said a lot of weird stuff in that, and so
yeah, it was like, who cares if he's a terrible person if you like his movies? So are you saying who cares if she actually did all this, said all these terrible things?
I even typed that in their chat. I'm like, so the point that you're trying to make is that it doesn't matter if he's I put POS instead of piece of shit, but it doesn't matter if he's a POS as long as his, acting is good. That's fine. I said, I don't think this is landing the way you want it to. A couple people came at me saying I was calling Lauren a POS. I'm like, no, I'm talking about Brad. I'm talking about their analogy that they're using, with Brad Pitt. What are you talking about? But
And now that you say that, I saw you.
It was so weird the way people were responding to that, and I'm like, I also think a thing happens when we're chatters, we don't listen to what's actually being said on the panel as much as if we were just listening to a podcast without an active chat.
Oh,
I think when there's an active chat, you get to engaging with the chatters, and I enjoy doing that too. But you're not fully listening to what's being said. But they were making the worst analogy I'd ever heard. He was trying to slow walk it, and I mean slow walk it the point home. And she just kept interjecting with, "How do you like them receipts? Dr. John's bringing the receipts." And it's like, no, he's not. He just read a British law, and you said it's a British law. It's like, we're supposed to believe, okay, the British law categorizes it as stalking. That's not going to work here in America, ma'am. It was such a weird live stream. So
here,
weird.
let me flip over to it because I got to ask you, this body language. What in her body language?
Very closed off. I noticed that the whole time. Our defense up. Her defenses were up the entire live stream.
Yeah, and it was just bizarre. I don't know, even towards him kind of in a way, you know what I mean? She seemed, let me just flip through because every time you look, hey, she's actually speaking. She didn't do a lot of that. But see, there while he's reading and just looking over, what? It's creepy. I don't know. It was bizarre. Then, he goes off on Lori Hellis over that she interrupted me. Now I was going to make a point when he throws the glasses. Have you seen that part?
I didn't finish the last hour. So if that's in the last hour, I don't think I heard that part. Because I don't remember him throwing his glasses.
Or he like slams them down, kind of, not necessarily like throw them across. But I still have to play this for you because, oh my gosh, hold on, let me see. Let me think. Should I search a word? It was going to be the most. What word could I say? One of our.
In my overall opinion of what happened, and I went and watched those TikToks as soon as she came out with her 9-hour live stream. She leads us all to the TikTok channel, by the way. Like, you never would have found her prior to that, because there was, like, when we went looking that morning, there was no hashtags, nothing leading you like directly to Lauren or Hidden True Crime. And so when we went and watched them, I was just like, if this is your biggest op, your biggest hater, and your reaction is this way because of some critique, because that's what it felt like to me, critique, that, you know, she's very upset that these friends got together and which often happens in online groups where, you know, people try to keep their friends apart, and then they come together and find out, oh, you were saying this behind my back, oh, she was saying this behind my back, and then you compare notes and find out you were all being lied to, and now you're, you know, frustrated, and you get that information out there or whatnot. And she was so bent out of shape by it. I feel like it facilitated a reaction of, the only way to respond to this is to go to the extreme, that they're stalking me, they're harassing me, like all this stuff. And she's got herself truly worked up over a situation that doesn't seem as intense as, and because I thought with this response, they were going to bring a lot more information of like true harassment or true things that were going on behind the scenes. And then hearing the court stuff, it's just not there. I mean, maybe they have something, but there's just not like this true stalking or harassment claim.
Yeah, not at all. It's just blowing up too fast. I am trying to find that. I think actually that Every Day with Jay, I thought, uploaded a clip. Amber, where can I find that where he pulls the glasses off? Because I see they're off here, but the transcript doesn't match. Hold on, let me see. You are going to be like, oh my God.
I wrote it down because
I have it clipped, actually. Let me just go to my Facebook. But yeah, I don't think that she expected this. I think, of course, it's got to be talked about when you're trying to use the courts. But then think about the other times we've seen the courts be used to try to, I don't ever like a protection order to be used to silence somebody. I've seen it work before, but I still don't.
I have seen it, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, it's just a bigger scale this time. But all right, Deets, hold on. Let me find this. I'm so sorry, but this is so creepy. You must see it. Like, he rages at her. He says that, basically, he says, you know, one of the people speaking out, she was on our channel once, and I was about to make the most important, profound statement I have ever made. And she had the nerve to interrupt me. And he like slams the glasses down, and he is very upset about it. And it's just so...
Okay, buddy. Calm down.
Yeah, okay. Amber sent it in text. It's creepy. They take
the
themselves
Brad
very
stuff.
serious.
Yeah, Tracy, the Brad stuff was so weird though. The way that he just was like, I think instead of it being did they change the title of that? Because I thought it was like our response or something. But anyway, instead of it
Yeah, it
being a
was.
response, I thought so. Instead of it being our response, it was more like an ode to Brad Pitt. Like, gosh.
Yeah, it definitely was. Okay, I've got it. I'm so glad, because you have to see this. Okay, here we go.
Hey, one of the people saying this because of this was on our show years ago. And I will say this, one of the worst moments I've ever had in 5 years, one of the moments that pissed me off to no end, unlike every other moment on any show I've ever been on, this person was on the show. And somebody, a viewer asked a question of me that was extremely emotional. And I was pondering the question. You could see I was getting emotional. I was going to give one of the best responses I've ever given. And you know what happened? Because this person couldn't handle the fact that I was getting emotional, they
pause real
cut me
quick?
off.
Yes.
Before he got to his punchline, oh no, they cut him off. But just go back like 10 seconds and watch Laura. Like, I get what you're saying. It doesn't even feel like she's truly listening to her husband, does it? Like, she's
No.
just like,
She's like just like trying to put on this little pouty. I don't know though. It's like the
We
energy
say-
between them so weird.
it's weird. We say all the time, you're listening to respond, you're not listening to understand. She is embodying what that meme is. Like, I feel like she's just, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like she's even retaining what he's saying, just the way she's listening. That's
At
just a
all.
judgment, but
No, it doesn't though at all, and it's just very unnatural.
Mhm.
You know what I
It
mean?
is.
Like the
yeah.
okay, here we go. Let me watch her.
Question of me that was extremely emotional. And I was pondering the question. You could see I was getting emotional. I was going to give one of the best responses I've ever given. And you know what happened? Because this
Almost like
person couldn't
medicated.
handle the fact that I was getting emotional, they cut me off. They absolutely cut me off, refused to let me answer because they couldn't handle that emotion in a male, especially in a male, that raw emotion that I was about to express. And I was so angry. If this person wonders why she's not on our channel, you might want to look at yourself. You might want to look at the fact that you cut me off in one of the most critical moments on one of our shows that I've ever had. You might want to look at the fact that
Somebody
people
get this
didn't
man
like you.
Baba.
You might want to look at the fact that you
And I'll just pause for fair use because I want you to keep listening. But see, I told you this was so weird and just
My goodness. I want to know, has anybody found what show it was or what he's referencing? I'm very curious as to, because he's so sure that it's because he was a man with emotions. She cut him off because he was a man with emotions and she couldn't handle it. It's almost like he wants to scream, the truth. You can't handle the truth. I don't know. It's very bizarre.
I have not found it, but you know what? If her videos with her are still up, I think I'll go back and try to go through them a little bit and see, because it would be one that he's on there, right? Lori
Well,
Vallow,
it
because
was
that's
one
what
of
they're
their most
covering.
important podcasts ever, he said. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. This is just my gut reaction. Sorry if it's I don't
No,
know.
I'm
Maybe
glad.
it's deeper. That's why I'd be curious to see the context of it, but this is very intense, Dr. John.
Yes, like getting interrupted, it happens on panels. Like it just happens sometimes. Dude. And then Amber sent me a clip that we'll watch after this about Delphi with Dr. John. And then I'm done. Like I'll come. I think we should go over to your channel and listen to you. I want you to go live. I have missed these
I
lives
was
so
just gonna
bad.
catch up and chit chat about this stuff, about true crime and all that. Not true crime,
Just
like the
everything.
trauma
Like
aspect of it and all that.
yeah. Okay, yay. Well, I hope you still will. All right, here we go.
spoke over Lauren and myself. You
Missed
might want
the
to look at
all-day
the fact
Beats
that you
Lab.
thought you owned this channel when you didn't. You might want to look at the
Thought
fact
you
that there
owned
was
this
a
channel.
groundswell of people who despised you.
He's such an intellectual.
idea-
There was a groundswell of people who despised you. You know why, Allie? Because you interrupted them. Come on.
Like you thought you owned the channel. Like what?
You want to know why you're not welcome here? You want to know why I'm never going to invite you on my panel again? Because you interrupted me when I had something intelligent to say. That's what this sounds like. This is embarrassing, sir. Oh,
You
Lord.
know, a lot of people were like, have you seen how unhinged he gets when a woman like pushes back to him? And Amber had brought up a good point last night. You guys should watch the live. I'll drop her link in the chat. But she said, I don't think he was actually mad over that. I think it's the anger about her speaking out now, like because Lori's speaking out. And he's angry about that. So I thought that was interesting.
Wow.
I don't know how much further it goes. Let's see. Oh, the look on his
Of
face.
female stalkers being frivolous and silly and hysterical and overly emotional Most of the people saying that are males. Because they can't handle that type of emotion. They can't handle that vulnerability. So the easy response to that is to point the finger at you and say, you're lying, you're faking.
No, see, I don't think she's lying. Well, let me retract that a little bit. I don't think she's lying about everything. But it's just, I think she is making a mountain out of a molehill. I think that the hate that she has received, that she was receiving prior to this blowing up, I do. I think she probably betrayed by her friends or ex-friends. She was scared and nervous that this, the things that she said about victims and their families were going to be spread out there to the world, that some people were going to figure out that, maybe she's not the person that she has put herself forward to be. And that was scary to her.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's this horrible, vile individual at all. I just don't think she was who she claimed to be on some instances. But this reaction, this over the top, like, let me do a 4-hour live stream reading through all of my medical books to prove to you that we're super smart and super intelligent and we know better than you, is not it. Is not it.
No, I completely agree. I don't think she's terrible, but I think she's fake, and I think that she's gotten her way maybe a lot in life or something, to where like a little bit of criticism is really scary to her.
Yes,
And
that's it. She couldn't handle that. She could, and I understand it. Gosh, look, man, when you get critiques and it's negative, it sucks. I don't care who you are. I don't care how tough you think you are. When, someone says something negative about you on any front, it hurts. It's like, wait, that's not who I am. And you might have to do some self-reflecting to see, okay, maybe that is who I am. Maybe that is something I need to change. It's not, but I think this is a temper tantrum. And it feels like a couple who have never been told, like, what you're doing's not right.
Yeah, completely agree. Someone had asked about the memberships, and I don't know, do you have to opt in anymore? Because I'm about to gift the last 5. I don't think you even have to opt in anymore, but if somebody knows how, can you put it in the chat? Like if a chatter
I don't
knows
know if
how.
you have to opt in or yeah, I'm really not sure. It used to be if you've never opted in, it would pop up the first time. But what
Oh my
Butterbean
gosh.
said, oh, go ahead.
They got one. The person who asked, they're like, how much is a membership? And I said, just opt in. And they ended up getting it when I gifted the first
I
5.
love that.
That's cool. Sorry, go ahead.
I love what Butterbean said. They said it was handled wrong and now they're getting backlash. But a lot of people are taking it way too far, talking about their looks, their parenting. I haven't seen that. I'm not saying it's not happening. It probably is. I just haven't been out on YouTube personally. But I agree. People shouldn't be taking it to that length, talking about their looks and their parenting and all that. But it's also ridiculous. I think people should still be allowed to talk about it and talk about how,
Well, I think the reason the
I like
parenting is coming up, because I'm with you. I don't think we should be talking about any other YouTubers parenting. I think that's the same as talking about, I hate in the drama communities where they're like, yeah, it's not talking about kids. Like,
yeah,
it is.
they
But,
continue to talk. Yeah.
Yeah, but people are wondering why, because she said that her son was just, so affected by this and everything. So people are like, why did you tell him? That's all
that
I've
is
seen. I haven't
weird.
seen. Yeah,
I
I
don't
haven't
know how
seen any.
old her child is either, though. So maybe he's older. And
I think he's like Bentley's age. I did hear it, but I don't remember 100%. But I think he's like, somebody let me know in the chat, maybe like 8 or 10 or something. Do you know?
oh yeah, but he didn't need to know about any of this stuff.
Yeah, so that's why he's 8, yeah, are
Yeah.
like, huh? But and then
Yeah, I would have left him out of it completely.
yeah, I mean, a lot of shit. Think about it. Like, how many things have you been through, Deets, as a mom that were tough that your kids didn't know you were even going through?
Well, think about it. This is their job, not their only job, because I'm assuming Dr. John practices, so he has another job. But like, think about it yourself. There's things that have happened to, my husband and I at work that we never told to our kids, because there's just
Right.
some burdens that kids don't need to bear. Let them be kids. They don't need to,
Exactly.
worry that you got wrote up or reprimanded, or you're having a fight with, Susan in accounting. Like, they don't need to know that BS, nor do they care to know that BS. So when there's drama at work, obviously sometimes that stuff leaks out into the home when you're, talking with one another or whatnot. But there, if you think you have a stalker, just that word stalker, which I think was a very intentional use here by Hidden True Crime to label her a stalker, because that word alone elicits a response from people. If I came up here
Yep.
right now, Allie, and I told you I have a stalker, what are you going to think? Just
Immediately, I'm going to worry for you because I care about you. I'm gonna be
And
like, oh my God.
Yep, because our minds go to someone's peeping in my windows or parked outside of my house, or, tracking my every move. That's what we think. I know there are different forms of stalking, and they're all valid forms of stalking. But when you put that word out there instantly, like, oh, we have a stalker, that elicits a fear
Yep.
response in people because of what our brains initially go to. So now imagine being a small child and being told mom has a stalker. That's
Oh
fucking
God.
scary. So
That is so
it's not my
scary.
business, not my family. I'm not going to judge what they do with their family, but I wouldn't even have told my child.
Yeah, same here. It's just, ugh, I don't know. And then Chasing said, Lauren said this is their business. Not sure if that means he isn't practicing anymore. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure either, but still, it's their job. And then sometimes, you just don't need to bring the work stuff home.
Well, it's just like if you can't pay your bills or something, or like, let's say you're worried because it's close and you're like, oh God, do I have enough for this bill? You don't let your kids know that.
Yeah.
Like you sit there and you do
Yes.
the adult stuff and you work and you make it work, and then your kids, they have water or whatever the hell. But
Right. They have what they need. They
Right.
are taken care of. Yep.
And not only did she use the word stalker, Deets, she used it so many times.
I know. On that 9-hour stream, she did a lot. Like, it was,
Yeah.
that's what she calls her. She never called her by her name. It was my stalker, my stalker.
Yeah. Okay, so the last clip. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying it was intentional. The verbiage they used, based on everything I've seen watching them over the years, that verbiage is very intentional. The way that they have handled it, like, in my
Oh, yes.
opinion, this isn't on Allie, this is on Deets. Like, in my opinion, they have set this up in a specific manner, so that hopefully it'll play out a certain way in the judicial system.
I totally
I
agree.
think they're being
Look,
very
every word. If you watch
Mhm.
the body cam, I forget what she says. Like, and then when she uses the words threatening in the body cam, she's curated her speech too. I can't remember exactly, but every word is so thought out. It seems so planned. And I had said this the other night, and Deets, not to compare the crime at all, not what
Mhm.
Letitia did, but just watching the movements, having studied like her so close and how her brain works. They do the similar things of that, like curating each word to like to get certain responses, and I don't know, it
Yeah.
just feels so manipulative and icky.
Could be
Okay.
intentional. Who knows?
Hey, Crusha, good to see you. Okay, so this is a clip Amber sent me, and I haven't even seen it. She just said it's like Dr. John talking about Delphi, I think. But yeah, Dr. John, sorry, I have a glare on my screen. But let's listen to this, and then I'm gonna let you guys go because I really want to hang out and do my housework and stuff listening to Deets today. Okay, but I'm so happy. Can I just say thank you for coming up, because I've missed
I'm
you.
glad I popped in. I miss you. I miss everybody. Like, I know people in the Krama realm say, I'm not around, I'm not watching anything, and they don't mean it. I truly mean it. And these girls know I have not
Yes.
been around, but I miss them like crazy. Life has just been busy.
Yeah, and I get that, but when you do come in, it's like, yay,
I love talking to you guys.
and we love you being here. Okay, so let's hear this. Apparently he is, yeah, it's pretty interesting what he says. Here we go.
Yes, the doctor is being so gracious as to do a demonstration for us as to what confirmation bias is.
Confirmation bias is often thought of as sort of the Mount Everest of conspiracy theories or you know what it's a bias.
What? Dr. John? Hey, Dr. John, are you just fucking making shit up and saying
Oh.
things? Let's take that again, buddy.
Confirmation bias is often thought of as sort of the Mount Everest of conspiracy theories or you know what it's a bias that often supports conspiracy theories because it will support whatever the theory is.
That's not how confirmation bias works.
I like this girl.
Who is it? I was just
I don't
gonna
know.
ask, who is that?
What?
Who is that, Amber? You know?
Confirm your perspective and not to deny it or not to challenge it. And
Hold
confirmation
on.
bias is often thought of as sort of the Mount Everest.
Her banner says, "Lauren, be cool, sister. It's fair use." Something else underneath it.
Be cool.
Of-
That's
of
mislaying on my
conspiracy
channel.
theories or
Yeah,
you know
Lauren,
what,
be cool.
it's a bias that often supports conspiracy theories because it will support whatever the theory is.
Conspiracy theories.
Because it is, because it'll support. Is math in here? Oh, God. It's not easy playing it. I looked for the evidence you claim to have on Rick and I could not find it. He's literally just like, what did he just say? I'm sorry. Can I play that one? I'm sorry if that's annoying. I want to play that.
I think that must be it.
Or,
But
you know,
is he
what
trying to
to deny it
defend
or
their
not to-
stance on Delphi? I guess because a lot of people said that they like were biased. Or
That she
confirmation bias had
was.
their minds up.
I unsubbed from her channel during Delphi.
I don't blame you because I clicked in and I was like so disappointed. I really wanted to hear like how both sides, and I heard one day and where you couldn't see it, like you really wanted to hear from people who were there. You know what I mean?
I
That
was
a big
watching
deal.
every night. I was listening to 4 different people at first. She was one of them, and dwindled it down to 3 because we couldn't be in the courtroom. All we had to go off of was their notes and how they felt and you know, their reactions to things. So I wanted to make sure I listened to an array of people about Delphi, and she was one of them at first. And the first day I was like, okay, she's just being, you know, a fair reporter. She's giving us the facts. And there was a few things she had said that first day that I was kind of like, oh, she's already leaning towards guilty. Just, I think it was the way she talked about Richard's wife. Like she was sitting there, blah, blah, blah. And then the second day, it was like she could not hide her bias anymore. And by
Right.
the third day, I was like, it was cringe. And I just unsubbed.
Yeah, and you know what? I think well, number one, she was with the families, but I think I heard her talk about his family as well. It's just like the vibe that she gave, though. When I've watched very little of her, maybe 1 or 2 streams on it, and at both times, I was like, ugh, like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's so opposite from all the other streams I'm hearing of what happened, and you won't even touch on even the possibility. Like you're just going with the narrative completely, which in that restraining order, maybe because she's buddied up with the detectives and stuff, she got that interview right after. And you know, she struck Sleuthy for reviewing her interview with the Jerry, what's his last name? Buck something.
Oh, I didn't know she struck Sleuthy for that.
Yeah, Sleuthy told the story on Amber's the other night, but her and Teresa were reviewing it, but they were pausing a lot. They had a lot of thoughts, a lot to say. It took them forever to get through it.
Yeah, they're
And she
really
struck
good at fair use.
Yeah, but they have, you know, Teresa has a very different opinion, and she went through, like, I remember I was over there, I think on panel when she went through that first defense, you know, when they put out that first filing that was like, whoa, it had the Odinism and all that stuff in it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so Teresa has looked closely at all angles, which is what you want, like out of somebody who's telling you about, she just, I think she couldn't handle it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't believe I didn't know she had struck him.
So does he know what confirmation bias is? Or is he
That's
just
what I'm
trying
wondering. Like, what? Does he understand?
Yeah. Look, Mama Bear was in Sleuthy's when Hidden True Crime got struck.
Really?
And Burkhart. And then, Strike and Crush it the other night. That was just too far. She literally, so they had, you know, the video in the background was just from her channel, but it was pictures they had sent. It was like JJ as a baby, like a slideshow of their own family photos. Like, and they were talking over it. They weren't even playing any audio. It's clear you just don't want any other side to be told or heard.
Do you think, and I would love, if you want to get more in depth about this later, I'd love to hear your opinion on it. But do you think that this is a reaction to getting real critique? Like, I don't know if before this she's ever had any true negative critique from anyone. It feels like since I started following her years ago, it's always been very positive from all fronts, from true crime, from drama, from anyone talking about it. Hidden True Crime was seen as one of those real true crime channels.
Yeah.
And so I never saw much negative comments towards Lauren or Hidden True Crime. So do you think this is just a reaction to having some negative critique for once? Or is it
Yes
deeper?
and no. I think it goes a bit deeper, but I think yes. I think it's a reaction of being criticized and having negative stuff said about you. But I have to think, like, it has to be deeper, because surely to get to that size of platform, you've taken a little bit of that.
Yeah, you would think.
Danny, it's Deets. Deetsy, which you guys.
Hi. A lot of people probably don't know me. I haven't been around for a long time.
Well, if you want to get to know her, I'm dropping some links right now, and yours is one I'm going to drop the mods links to. I hope you'll do that live, because, like,
I just set it up, so we're gonna do. You have to come
Okay.
over though.
I will. I'll definitely be there, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to hearing everything you got to say. Where you been? All about the Krama stuff. I can't wait to for you to get into it. So, but thank you for coming up with me. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Yeah, I would love to. Chasing's been up a couple times talking about this. Like,
I know.
Yeah, it would have been awesome if you would have been here for that. But yeah, I miss you. And anytime you're here, it's good to see you. So thank you. And yeah, should I redirect Bindy's? That's a good idea. Wow,
I got.
well,
I think I have it set up for like a half an hour from now.
well, I'm going to redirect just so people can go hit the notify me underneath. You know what I mean? And that they can come see it if they want.
I have a weird avatar right now, Danny, because my computer did an update and it didn't have like I'm gonna have to load up my little Deets logo that I typically use. So the quickest thing I could find was this silly picture I use in Discord.
It's such a pretty picture that looks so much like you. To be AI, it is
That's
really
AI.
weird.
It's not it does look like me. But it was like
Yes.
the quickest thing I could find. I'd already taken forever to get the computer turned on, and then I was like, it was either this or a can of Pib, and I was like, let me go for this.
Got it. It's got your live. I love your
Nice.
thumbnails. They're so pretty.
It was an old
but-
one. All right.
Okay,
But
well-
yeah, thanks for having me. And anytime you
Thank
want
you
to talk more about Michael's case, let me know.
You know, actually, I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's something that I do want to look into and know a lot more before we get to any more like the trial or any pre-trial stuff. So
I'm gonna have to dig out my notebooks because we haven't really gone over it since we moved here, but I have probably 2 notebooks full of stuff on his case. So
well, also that video, repost it, because I want to see that.
Yeah. I'll get it finished and I will. I'll post it. I mean, it'll be a long one because he came out and he spoke a lot, but it's good. It's good, like hearing, and you can catch him lying when you line it up like that.
Yeah, I
I'm doing
bet.
it like I did my AWP video. When you line those interviews up back to back to back and they're in chronological order, you can really pick out his lies. Like, listen to him change his story over
Oh,
time.
yeah.
It's crazy.
That's why I want to see it that way. That's what probably inspired you to do it. You're like, wait, that doesn't sound right. Let's put it back to back with.
Exactly. It's the easiest way to catch them. All right, I'll let you go so you can finish, but I'll be listening.
Okay, well, I'm ending now. I'm just gonna say goodbye and thank a couple people from the memberships or whatever. But all right, I'll
Thank
be
you
over
for
there.
having me
Thank
up.
you.
Bye, Allie.
Okay,
Love ya.
bye. Love you. Okay, so Krisha, I have to, before I say thank you to a couple people, and I'm going to let you guys go, I just want to comment on this. Krisha says, so similar to Lori. She never presented the monster we all know. It's that we all know today. It's the version they choose to show us at that time. That mask does fall off and it's terrifying. I think it's really interesting you compare her to her, because for me, you know, I have compared her a few times now to the manipulation side of Letitia, like her phone calls and stuff, not necessarily her crime. But Bindi and I spent so much time comparing Letitia and Lori. So, and I think it's like similar to like Jodi Arias or Nicole Kessinger. It doesn't have to be people who have been charged with murder, just these very manipulative people in these cases that we've talked about. And for you, Krisha, Lori's case, which you have looked at so closely and know so well, I'm sure like it does like remind you of the things she would do that are manipulative, or when her mask fell off, for instance. So I think that's so interesting. And let me just say thank you to a couple people here at the end. I want to say thank you to Grandma Sherry for rejoining. I know I said thank you in the chat, you guys, but I didn't want to interrupt the conversation, but I want to make sure to thank you all because it means a lot to me. So thank you, Mama Bear, for 33 months. Thank you for always thinking of the victims. Heart you too. Proud grandma of two. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. And then, yeah, don't gotta thank myself for, I can thank YouTube because I didn't buy these. YouTube gave them to us. Don't be convinced by other YouTubers. Listen, they give us 10 every month to give away to you guys. And, yeah, I'm so glad that people that wanted memberships ended up getting those links. We're going to get back to doing some membership stuff. I'm on a schedule now, you guys. So I'll see you tomorrow night, every night, Monday through Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Sunday at noon. So thank you guys for choosing to spend your Sunday with me today. And maybe next Sunday, I'll see you again, or maybe tomorrow, or over at Dietz, actually. Come over to Dietz. But anyways, have a good night and thank you guys, or a good day.